Berlin in the 1700s was a city in the middle of change. It was not yet the famous capital we know today, but it was growing fast, shaped by power, planning, and ambition. At this time, Berlin was the heart of Prussia. Kings and officials were turning a modest city into a strong capital. Wide streets, new palaces, and military order began to define the city. Using historical maps, paintings, and engravings from the 18th century, we can now recreate how Berlin likely looked nearly 300 years ago. Its streets, buildings, people, and atmosphere, allowing us to step back in time and see Berlin as it once was. A bird's-eye view of Berlin. This is a bird's-eye view of Berlin in the mid-1700s. The city spreads along the River Spree, its natural lifeline. From above, Berlin appears orderly and planned. This was not an old medieval maze like many European cities. Much of Berlin was shaped by rulers who valued control and structure. The city was smaller than London or Paris, but it was carefully designed. Straight streets, clear districts, and strong defenses. In the distance, church towers rise above tiled rooftops. Low buildings dominate the skyline. Berlin was still a city of soldiers, officials, and craftsmen. The River Spree, Berlin's lifeline. Here we see the River Spree flowing through Berlin. The river was essential to the city's survival and growth. Flat-bottomed boats carry goods along the water. Timber, grain, stone, and supplies move slowly through the city. This river connected Berlin to wider trade routes across Prussia. Along the riverbanks, warehouses and workshops line the shore. Small bridges cross the water, linking districts together. The river moves quietly, but it powers the city every day. The Berlin Palace, seat of power. This is the Berlin Palace, also known as the Stadt Schloss. It stands at the center of the city. By the 1700s, this palace was the main residence of the Prussian kings. Its grand Baroque design sends a clear message of authority. Wide courtyards and tall facades face the city. Soldiers guard the entrances. Officials move in and out throughout the day. This building was not just a home. It was the heart of government. Decisions made here shaped Prussia and later Germany itself. Nearby, small groups of people gather in the square. They keep their distance. Power in Berlin is visible, formal, and controlled. Unter den Linden, Berlin's Grand Avenue. This is Unter den Linden in the 18th century. It was Berlin's most famous boulevard. The wide road is lined with linden trees. Elegant buildings rise on both sides. Carriages move slowly along the avenue. This street linked the palace to the western edge of the city. It was designed to impress visitors and foreign guests. Here, Berlin showed its ambitions. Order, beauty, and authority were carefully displayed. In the distance, fashionable figures walk along the road. They move calmly, aware they are being seen. This was one of the few places where Berlin felt truly grand. The Brandenburg Gate, a symbol takes shape. This is the early form of the Brandenburg Gate area. In the mid-1700s, it was not yet the monument we know today. At this time, it stood near the city's western entrance. It marked the boundary between Berlin and the open countryside. Guards controlled who entered and who left. The gate was part of Berlin's defenses and customs system. Later in the century, it would be rebuilt into a symbol of power. But even now, this space mattered. Beyond the gate, roads led to other Prussian towns. Berlin was reaching outward, slowly expanding its influence. Berlin's military character. Berlin in the 1700s was a military city. Prussia was built on discipline and order. Barracks were spread across the city. Soldiers were a common sight in the streets. Drills and parades were part of daily life. This military presence shaped the city's design. Wide streets allowed troops to move easily. Open squares served practical purposes. In the background, uniformed figures pass through a square. They move in lines, calm and controlled. This order defined Berlin's identity. Markets and daily trade. This is one of Berlin's market areas in the 18th century. Trade here was local and practical. Stalls sell bread, meat, vegetables, and tools. Goods arrive by cart and river. Unlike major port cities, Berlin's trade was not global, but it was steady and organized. The markets served soldiers, workers, and officials. Prices were controlled. Order was enforced. Small groups of people move between stalls. Voices are low. The city feels busy but not chaotic. Churches and the city skyline church towers rise above Berlin's rooftops. They help define the city's shape. Many churches were rebuilt or expanded after earlier wars. They were simple, solid, and practical. Religion played an important role in public life. But in Berlin, it never overshadowed the state. From a distance, the skyline remains low and even. No single building dominates completely. This balance reflects the city itself. Berlin was not built for spectacle alone. It was built to function. Berlin at the edge of change. By the late 1700s, Berlin was no longer a small city. It was becoming a true capital. Population numbers were rising. New districts were planned beyond the old walls. The foundations of modern Berlin were being laid. Government, military, and order came first. Culture and industry would follow. A few older figures stand near the city streets. They watch the changes quietly. Berlin moves forward around them. In the 1700s, Berlin was a city shaped by power and planning. It was disciplined, controlled, and growing with purpose. While other cities thrived on trade and empire, Berlin grew through structure and ambition. Much of today's Berlin began in this century. The streets, the centers of power, and the city's identity. History has left us maps and images of this world. Using them, we can bring lost cities back to life. Which city should we explore next? Tell us in the comments. Thanks for watching.